Okay, I'm going to be teaching how to draw noses today, and everything I learned about how to draw noses comes from this book, Secrets to Drawing Realistic Faces by Carrie Stewart Parks. It's the same one that from the eye video, from the How to Draw Masculine Eyes, and everything I learned about noses has all come from this book. Lots of great tips that I'm going to be sharing with you that I learned from her, and I hope you enjoy noses and find them easier than eyes, and hopefully you're successful. All right, here is a page out of the drawing book that I'm referring to, and as you can see, there's three pretty simple steps. So first, begin with the bottom of the nose. So that is the wings and the septum and the top of the nostril. And so the wings kind of look like parentheses, and the septum with the top of the nostril kind of looks like a crazy mustache. And then after you get in your parentheses and crazy mustache, then you're ready to put in the ball and the septum shadows, and maybe of the little bit of the outside wing shadows. And then in step 3, you're just finishing up with shading. So you can see in step 1, the only lines in the whole entire nose are at the bottom, the parentheses and the mustache shape. All the rest of the nose is 100% completed through shading and blending. All right, here's an example of the noses we're going to draw today. We're going to draw a nose with a wider ball, a wider bridge, with small, tiny nostrils, or the nostrils aren't visible. And then we're going to draw a rounded nose with rounded nostrils, and then we're going to draw a rounded nose with wide or flared nostrils. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am wearing marker earrings today. They're not really markers, it's a piece of wood that's been painted. But I bought these at an art teacher conference, and I wear them whenever I can. All right, so we are talking about noses today, and I want to go over the parts of the nose before we get to drawing them. So you've got your bridge. I have a pretty narrow bridge. Some people want a narrow bridge, and they put in makeup. They use contouring makeup to put some fake shadows right here on their nose and a big highlight in the middle to make their nose look smaller. But some people have wider noses. If you have a broken nose, you may have one, the side of your bridge might curve out a little bit. And then you've got your ball of your nose or the tip of your nose. And then your wings, that is the side skin that covers the nostrils, called your wings. And then you have your nostrils yourself. And usually your nostrils are actually one side is usually bigger than the other. And then you have your septum. That is the little pointy part down here that connects to the skin above your lip. So those are your parts of your nose. And let's get started drawing. All right, so this is the first nose we're going to draw. This is a rounded nose with rounded nostrils, and this is my nose, and I thought it was really symmetrical, but as I'm looking at it on this really close picture, I see that it's not symmetrical at all, but that's okay. So anyway, here we go. All right, remember when we start a nose drawing, the first thing we have to draw is the septum and the top of the nostril and the outside of the wings. All right, so one thing you do not ever want to do is to draw those lines up to the eyes from the sides of the nose, like kind of indicating the width of the bridge. We do not draw lines at all, so do not do that. That is a big no-no. Erase those. That is what you do when you're in elementary school and you don't know how to draw a face. So those lines will be created through shading in a minute, so do not draw lines up to the bridge ever, ever, ever. All right, right now I'm just kind of going over all of my lines since there are only 3 lines in this drawing. The wings, the top of the nostril, down to the septum,
So our parentheses with our crazy mustache, that is the only lines at all. Okay, so there's our parentheses and then our crazy mustache. So I'm kind of darkening up those lines because those are the only lines in the drawing. Everything else is going to be created through shading. All right, as light as you can, I want you to barely outline where that highlight spot is on the tip or ball of the nose. That is not a permanent place. That's kind of like a placeholder in the meantime, so you don't forget that that needs to stay empty. That's going to be the only white part, or the color of the paper on the nose, is that highlight spot. All right, so switch to your ebony pencil or your shading pencil. 6B pencil is good. And you're going to lightly sketch in the darkest places of the nose. So make sure you are referring back to the reference picture, and so you can see exactly where the darker parts are. We're going to slowly build up the shadows. We're not going to go straight to the darkness. We're going to build them up very slowly and lightly. All right, we're getting ready to do the nostrils next. It is super important that you do not shade in the entire nostril as one black hole. And the book makes the comment that it's going to look like you're looking down the barrel of a gun. We do not want that. Your nose is not an endless black hole, okay? It is only kind of dark right at the top of it, and then it's going to fade down. And so that's what we're going to do. You're going to shade it dark at the very top, and then around the septum, and then we will slowly blend down, just like I'm doing now. Slowly blend it down a little bit softer to make it look more realistic. Same thing over here. Dark outline at the top of the nostril, and then fade down into the nostril. All right, as you get closer to that ball of the nose, the tip or ball of the nose, you do want to go back with your eraser and lightly erase out that marker place that we had put down to remind us to keep it empty. You don't want to leave that outline showing because that doesn't look good, and there's no line happening around it, so you do want to go and erase that. Okay, for the remainder of this drawing, I'm going to be switching back and forth between my eraser, my Q-tip, and my shading pencil so that I can get the lights, the mediums, and the darks exactly in the value that they need to be, and then where they need to be placed. So pay close attention to that reference photo and make sure you aren't just making it up, and don't just follow me. Make sure you are looking back at your reference photo and making your own decisions. Okay, we're going to get ready for nose number 2. This is a nose with a wider bridge, a bigger ball, and more flared nostrils. Okay, once again, we are going to start with the septum, the middle of the septum. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to work my way to the right side top nostril first, and then back to the left side nostril, making it even. These are flared nostrils, so they're going to be much longer than the rounded nose with the round nostrils we drew before. And that little crazy mustache shape first. Observe your reference photo. So I noticed I was drawing that a little bit off. Gonna go back and fix it. Gonna make this one a little bit bigger. I didn't make it. It was looking too much like the first set of nostrils from the first nose. So I want this one to clearly be a flared nostril. After I finish with drawing the wings and the septum, then I'm going to lightly outline again where the highlights are so I can remember to keep those mostly empty as just kind of as a reminder, and then I'll go back and blend them away later or erase them. Then I'll switch to my ebony pencil and start putting in the really dark shadows, and then working my way to the lighter shadows and just kind of moving around, noticing where there are dark places, and then putting in those kind of scribbly shadows very, very softly, and then using my Q-tip to blend them and spread them. Okay, here's a picture of the third nose that we're going to draw, and this has a very, very long rounded ball for the tip of the nose, and very, very skinny nostrils because the ball of the nose goes down so far. All right, on this nose, I'm going to start with a straight line because I need the septum to go below the line while the nostrils are going to, the wings and the bottom of the nostril will sit on the line. The septum will go below the line. The other two noses, the septum and the wings, sat all on the same line. All right, and you'll also notice that the nostril shape is super squished. Okay, that is because the ball of the nose is bigger, pushing down on the nose, causing the nostrils to appear to be flattened.